Hi, welcome to Temple Tuesday. I am Carrie Ann Hoops, and this is my very sweet friend, Gainalyn Condi. And we're laughing because in her prayer just a minute ago, she prayed that the wind would die down.
It's so cold. It's so cold. And all those people in Nebraska are like, whine.
Wah.
Yeah. But it's a little chilly and it's like a blustery windstorm right now.
So funny. Tell us where you're tuning in from. We are so grateful to be here at the Mount Timpanogos Temple in Utah today. I'm up here traveling for some work, and tomorrow is Gainalyn's 1-year anniversary of Women of Worth, and she'll be on tomorrow with Brad Wilcox.
Brad Wilcox.
We're so excited about
He's
it.
our first male guest on Women of
Yay.
Worth Wednesday, and we thought it was appropriate because it was Halloween. So he's trying to trick all of you that really maybe he's a woman, but he's not. He's the great Brad Wilcox.
And he's the sweetest man
in the world.
Man.
He understands the hearts of women very well.
So he is the perfect guest for that.
For our 1 year.
So I have to share a quick story, and you have to ignore our hair.
We're wearing lip gloss that our hair keeps sticking in.
to.
So my hair and her hair may be sticking to each other's faces. We keep it real on High Five Live.
We do keep it real on High Five Live. So Gainalyn gets out of her car, and I was sitting here waiting, kind of in the quiet, and I see her just shuffling, like freezing. And I am in like open toe, like shoes. I am freezing.
Your blood is in shock right now.
And she says, maybe we should go to my car. And I said, no, this is Temple Tuesday.
We're doing it by the temple.
I said, I'm the one on the High Five Live team that braves the elements.
All the Women of Worth messages are inside usually, safely.
And I said, okay, come on, it's just a little wind. I deal with 120 degrees on Tuesday mornings in Arizona.
She's just brave. We know that about you already. You're a warrior.
It's
no
so
surprise.
funny. So we obviously have gotten this minute today off on a good start because we love each other. We have known each other for about 18 years.
Yeah.
We were in the same ward in Provo many years ago.
And my big boy was a little tiny boy.
Yep. And how old is he now?
He will turn 21 December 6th.
And my oldest is 19. And so our kids were little. I taught her son in primary for a couple of months. I mean, we have had all kinds of connections throughout our lives. But I want to tell you, for our viewers that don't know Gainalyn, and if you haven't seen her on Wednesdays, then you need to tune in. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time.
Tomorrow's a little earlier because Brother Brad has to teach at 11.
Okay.
So we figured for Halloween, we'll just do it crazy. We'll have a guy and we'll do it early.
Oh, well, there you go. But tune in.
Yeah.
Tune in. So
probably by 10:15 tomorrow we'll be live.
Okay. So Gainalyn has written 6 books. And if you haven't read her books, run to the store and get one, because I promise your heart will be touched. You will feel the spirit. She's written 6 books, and her 7th is getting ready to come out in March. I can't wait for it. I get her books and then I just put them down. They're seriously my favorite. I've lost count how many I've gifted.
Aww.
And I always tell her, I gifted, I need another. And
you're
so
such a sweet support.
She sometimes will give me a book, but I buy enough because I give them away. They are amazing.
One of my big whys for writing the books that I write is because I often say, what do you do when someone is struggling with depression, anxiety, divorce, chronic illness, early return missionary, infertility? I try to write books that deal with the real life, not the we fasted and prayed and it all worked out.
Yeah.
And
I got the answer right away.
Yeah. So what do? You can't give a casserole.
Right.
You can't. It's so hard when you're trying to minister to someone or you love someone and you see that there's a need and a gap. And my prayer is always that my books are the secret best friend for that person that's hurting, because they can read in their rooms and have someone that understands how they're feeling.
Well, she is a conduit. I can testify that she is a conduit for our Heavenly Father and the Spirit to do that, because there was a day where I was reading one of her books, I Can Do Hard Things with God. And there was
first baby.
That was your
my
first
book, yeah.
And I was reading one of the stories. Had not experienced it in my life. It was not something that I connected with that specific trial. And yet my heart was totally open to empathy and something about somebody else that was going through that trial. And it was amazing for me to have that clarity, have that aha moment of, oh my gosh, this makes sense. This story was written so that I could help her. And that's what's so amazing is we don't know where the Spirit can come. And with that, I want to share something. So a couple of months ago, I was at Gainalynn's house, and we were in her office, and she has light bulbs. And I just couldn't put that out of my mind.
Light bulbs on my desk.
Light bulb, yeah, on her desk, like a bowl full of light bulbs.
Yeah.
And I have carried, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's a light bulb. This is from Becky Higgins. It is
I
the
need
coolest.
that.
Yeah.
I need a new AHA journal.
Well, let me tell you, this is my second one, and I actually just won one on Becky Higgins. Like last week, I won some contest, and it was for this. But this is my second one, and I went home and I started writing thoughts in my other one. But I loved it. Every time I see this, I think of Gainalynn in her office and the Spirit that was in there. And you don't even know this. I haven't shared this.
I don't.
But it made me connect these light bulbs and these aha moments that we have in life to just life. But I always think of Gainalynn, and I think of that. I've had so many aha moments with Gainalynn when she has like shared something, or she's written a message online, or she sent me. We are very good friends, and we are very much, I feel like, in tune with each other's needs. And the quiet of a day where we don't hear from each other, we check on each other. And I am so grateful for the light bulbs that are just going off in her head that connect with mine and give me those moments to remember the Spirit.
So
because
sweet.
It truly is amazing how the littlest things can connect you to somebody. And we've had trials, both of us, in our lives that we have helped each other with and just been there for each other. But I will tell you that I am so grateful in my life to have her testimony to strengthen mine.
Thank you, and right back at you. I love your love for the temple, and I love that we're here at this temple. And I noticed someone put on here, are you at the Bountiful Temple? And I talk about this a lot if you've ever heard me speak about how much God loves the diversity of the world. I used to live in North Salt Lake, so Bountiful was my temple.
Yeah, it was.
And they were built similar times, and this is the Mount Timpanogos Temple, and they're very similar.
Very similar.
But I often share this story that the Bountiful Temple strengthened me in a way during a time that was excruciating and painful, and
There was a lot of trials going on.
there was a lot of trials going on, and I would crawl into that temple, and then I would come back out, and none of the problems were solved, but I was changed. But it's an interesting thing because the temple behind us, even though they're so similar, you go up the stairs and go in a different direction than you do in the Bountiful Temple. And for years, when I've lived in this area now 5.5 years, I would go up and go the way I always did in Bountiful.
Kind of
And-
like muscle memory.
Yes,
because,
yeah. And I often say that the Lord, if you worry that you have to look like your neighbor or your family needs to be like someone in your ward, look at the temples of God, because He loves the designs of uniqueness.
Yes.
And He loves that, you know, the Gilbert, Arizona temple is different than the Mount Timpanogos temple. And I shared this on social media Saturday. I had a small window with a funeral and other things going on, and I ran over here not realizing we had already closed for a big chunk of time in this temple.
There's a big renovation. That's why I'm not showing you the grounds, because
Yeah.
we can't get in.
Yeah, it's very frustrating when you have a plan that you're going to go to the temple, and you know, I had this small window. Now I live in an area of the United States where I can be to 5 different temples within 20 minutes.
Right.
But that 20-minute drive, especially when this temple closes down, people always say, why does Utah get another temple? Well, I always wait an hour to do initiatories here, and baptisms are always full, and then
Always full.
It's always full. So I know I didn't even have time to go 20 minutes up to the Draper Temple, and so I was really frustrated because I wanted the power that comes from the temple. And people were sitting on benches here and contemplating, and I realized how often God asks me to shut down for renovations. And I was telling Carrie Ann right before we went live that I feel kind of shut down today, and I'm pretty honest on Women of Worth, and so I'll be honest with your viewers that that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay that we have to, first of all, that we're different. Heavenly Father loves that. And that we need to shut down sometimes to rest and to be renovated.
Our body, it's just like sleep every night.
Yeah.
We need to sleep and recuperate.
Even
And
though you don't sleep very much.
I don't sleep very much.
She's saying that, but
I don't need a lot.
if ever you wake up at 2 a.m. and you need a buddy, Carrie Ann is likely awake. You
And
can
it
message
happens.
her.
It happens. She'll message, "You're awake, right?" Yep. But it's true because, and Gainalyn is very good with this. I am not so much. Where my body, I go and go and go and go. I don't sleep much. I don't recuperate, and then bam, I crash. And
Yeah.
you do such a good job of taking a rest day and taking a mental health day.
Yeah,
of
I don't
like-
even want to say what day this week is supposed to be my rest day because I did that last week and everything went crazy wrong. So
You don't want to say it out loud.
I don't want to say it out loud. Kind of like the day you say you're going to the temple.
Yeah.
But you know, people, my viewers know this, and those that have heard me speak or read my books, I have a chronic illness, and so that's been the great teacher of my life is to have a heart condition and lupus, and I've had to be that way. I'm not
Yeah.
always great at it, but it was just a reminder because so often we're a checklist community, right, in the church, and we
Yep.
want to get things done. We were talking and praying about what should we talk about today, and it was finally clear this morning what I wanted to share, and I don't want to interject if you don't.
No.
If you're ready to share something
No.
else. But I was thinking about the blessings. I have a friend right now that I'm talking to about the temple a lot, and she was asking me the other day why I love to be in the temple and what is my testimony of the temple. And there's lots of things that I think Carrie Ann has done a great job of with all of your guests, showing all the reasons why, right? But one of the great reasons, I have our son that's coming home in 43 days from Zimbabwe on his mission. He's in an area of the world where he can't attend the temple.
Yeah.
And the 6 months before he left, he worked in this temple here twice a week and worked full time to pay for his mission. And he misses that so often. And so when I go, I really feel like I'm taking him with me when I go in. But one of the things that I have come to know for sure, and my testimony is certain on, is that you bring home the angels that are attending you here home with you. And
When you attend the temple, it changes you.
it changes you.
And you bring that home,
Yeah.
and it changes the way you behave,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
And the way I feel I feel like I'm calmer,
Yeah.
I'm much more patient.
Yeah, and I don't feel like every time I go to the temple, it's this miraculous thing where the heavens part and I get some great answer.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. For those in the United States that are watching, we had a shooting this weekend in Philadelphia in a place of worship for a Jewish synagogue to have a shooter come in and kill 11 people. It was horrific, and it was making me think yesterday, there's so much in the world to be afraid of.
Yeah.
And there's so many places in the world where we can be scared. And now, you know, for many people, it's even our places of worship.
They were in a safe place.
They were, or
Where-
our schools, or
Yeah.
our workplaces. And so I've been pondering the last 24 hours with my son in an area of the world that it's not always safe, where he doesn't have even basic access to bread. Yesterday he said in the email there's not bread left in the country right now, and fuels on shortage. What can I do as a wife and a mother to create a sacred space in my home? And one of the greatest things that I know I can do is I make time to be in the temple so that I can bring that home. But for those of you not living close to a temple, and I know many of your viewers live all over the world and they don't have access to
Right.
a temple. I have a friend that lived here most of her life and now lives in an area where the temple's closed down for a period of time. And we talked about what can she do for the next few years while the Washington D.C. temple is renovated. And I'm a fan of creating temple times within your home.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's the time you do indexing. Maybe that's the time that you read
Family
something-
history.
Family history.
Things that'll connect
Yeah,
you
maybe
to
that's a
the
time
history
where
of it.
you read and study the scriptures. And I was wanting to share this great article from Sister Nelson, and I think she's such a powerful example of the testimonies of the temple and the power of the temple. And maybe you've read this article that she shared her experience with Elder Hollenstock when he said that ask for angels to help you and they will help you. And she had this epiphany, like, what?
An aha moment.
Aha moment,
Aha,
right?
yeah.
Like, what? I just needed to ask for angels and they will help me. And she goes on to talk about praying very specifically for angels to attend you. And so for the mothers out there and the fathers out there and the missionaries out there that are struggling with fear and all the things on the news that make us feel afraid, or the things you're struggling with sending your child off to school and they're dealing with bullying. For our family, having a missionary in an area of the world where there's a cholera outbreak and there's not access to
remember
food.
It was all 1 week. You
And it
guys
was
had heard
all-
all of it, and I was like, I immediately, as soon as I
so
heard
crazy.
the news,
Yeah.
I don't watch the news, but I happened to hear it and immediately reached out to her and
Yeah.
said, "How is your boy?"
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But there was more that happened that week.
Oh my
And
gosh,
my
there's-
family was praying for her family
Yeah.
because it wasn't just one thing.
It was layered the last 2 years.
It was
And
layered.
He's on his way. He's on his last transfer, and so my faith has grown in the power of angels and the power and promises that we're given. When we attend the temple, we bring that power home with us, and we are promised in the scriptures that in the last days there will be a cloud covering to protect us, and then a fire by night.
Well, and I feel
Over
like when
our
we
homes and over the temple, and our homes are an extension of that.
and when we show our faith, that's where that blessing comes from.
Yes.
We have to show our part. We have to do, the scriptures tell us to do something, but we have to be willingly turning our will over to the Lord
And giving
trusting.
giving up of our time, right,
Yes,
to show up.
giving up of our time to serve.
Sweet Carrie Ann does amazing temple photography, and at one point she sent me a gift of the Portland Temple, which is the temple where 27 years ago I was sealed to my husband. And just this morning, as you were just talking just now, this image came into my mind. It's sitting in this place right now because I have Halloween decorations up, so it's moved in my basement to a different spot. It's right by my son's bedroom. And I came down the stairs today, and I had a whole bunch on my mind, and I was feeling weighed down, and I just glanced right over to the picture of this beautiful temple that you had sent me, and I felt peace in glancing. Just looking to the temple for a moment gave me a sense of strength and a sense of peace, because I have some mommy worries about this boy coming home in 43 days. And I do a lot of speaking to YSA, and I hear the stories and struggles of transitioning and making life decisions and getting back into school and choosing an eternal companion and choosing a career, and I'm worried for him. I'm worried for this focus he's had for 2 years to end, and what will he do with that? And in that moment, I looked at the temple picture, and I felt that peace, and I felt that promise that comes from creating sacred places in your home, but attending sacred places outside of your home so you can bring that strength. And so thank you for the work you do in photographing the temples, because I think especially for those that can't get to the temple, having a picture of the temple. Someone saying hi from Kenya, and my sweet sister Stacy's on there. She lives in Houston, and I'm so grateful that temples bind us to God. These covenants work, and that's what I want to say, is covenants work. And when we're trying to prepare for the Savior to come again, we've been told it will get crazy.
And this is the place where we stand, like you said, when we can create a space of holiness, and we need to stand in holy places. And so if we can't stand inside the temple,
Yes.
I say this almost every week, then go to the temple grounds. If your
Yes.
temple is being renovated, get as close to the temple as you can.
Or if you don't have a recommend,
or
right
if you
now.
don't have one,
Yeah.
come and feel the
Or
Spirit.
I have non-members that follow me on social media, and they buy my books, and they always ask. I get asked regularly, can I go to, I live near a
Yes.
Latter-day Saint temple, can I go to the grounds?
Yep.
Yes, you can. And if you live near a temple where there's a visitor center,
Yes.
that's also a sacred place. Saturday when I came here, and I was frustrated like many of you with the plans of last week never went the way I thought, and maybe you can relate to that. I decided to surrender, and I looked around, and many people were sitting on benches
just
here
here.
and just sitting and talking, and I talked to a few of them. One couple, beautiful couple from Jamaica, and they live in Saratoga. They too could have gone to another temple, and I don't know what they were praying and pondering on, but I love that God's promises are certain. We don't have to be afraid that he's going to change his mind.
He's bound by those promises, but we have to do our part.
Yes.
And that's the key. We need to go. And so if you do not live near a temple, find a place in your home where you can have a picture of the temple
Yeah.
and feel the spirit of that. You know, President Kimball told us in 1977 to have a picture of the temple in our home. That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And that reminds me that there is a purpose for that, because just even when we look, we can feel that spirit. I'm so grateful for my friend Kaynalyn, and she is my sister. One thing I have to share is that when we are together, we're better together than we are apart. And we laugh and we cry, and she snorts, and then I laugh at her, and sometimes I snort, and the spirit is so strong. Find people in your life that can lift you and help you find that holy place in your life, because you don't want to be around that where you can't feel that, and surround yourself with those people that can.
I write about it in my book that came out this year, You Are Magnificent. They're called Faith Friends, and Carrie Ann is one of my faith friends. And I was messaging my son about faith friends yesterday, and he wanted me to explain it because he hasn't read my book. He's been gone. And I said, it's a person in your life that's working on their faith. They don't have a perfect life. They don't go through life without doubts and struggles, but they're working on their faith. And I think that looks different for all of us, right?
It does.
For some of us, we're in doubt, and so getting to the temple is one way we work on our faith. For others, your faith friend may have a different faith than you.
Yep.
And my friends that are Jewish, my friends that are Muslim, my friends that are Catholic, those are some of my faith friends too, because they're working on their faith. But aren't we so lucky? I had someone ask me about some controversy and perception of the Mormon Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the recent invitation to not call ourselves Mormon, and some other criticisms about some other issues that were playing out in the media. And I said, my testimony is this: there is no other place where this is where I can go except here in this religion. And for me, that is why I will be immovable. And thank you for sharing that message.
Amazing. Well, thank you for being here in the spirit of just love and friendship, and tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Brad Wilcox.
Or 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
For Women of Worth.
The Ambassador of Grace is what I call him.
And I recently met Brad.
Is he not just exactly who you hope he is to be?
He was more. He was more.
Yes.
And Kaynalyn and I were at an event together. She was speaking, and I was helping photograph it. And he was so gracious to me. And that's the thing, is that when we build our community of faith friends, find people that we can be different faiths, but we're like-minded to grow our faith, whatever that may be, so that we can be better.
And that's what I try to do with Women of Worth. I feel so blessed and honored that we've had a year. When we started it, the little team of High Five Life didn't even include you. You came on Women of Worth, and then you now took over and helped. And she's an amazing team player, and we were just going to try it for a few weeks, and now here we are a year later. And I have been so honored to bring so many amazing women on to Women of Worth Wednesday. And I love when I go into the post office and I am in the grocery stores and people stop and go, you're that Women of Worth person, and they make sure they watch those messages, and you do the same with Temple Tuesdays. And I'm grateful that there's a place like this where there's so much scary in the world, and we can come together and share so much good here on High Five Life.
Well, that's only because of you guys that watch
and share.
And I recently had an experience. I'm not sure if I shared this with Kaynalyn, but I was at a temple photographing, and I won't say who it was, but there was a general authority that recognized me from High Five Live, and he had seen us, and he mentioned her. And
he did?
Yes, and he had seen Temple Tuesday, and there was one specific message that had stood out to him that he had seen, and he shared. If you know anybody that could use this message,
especially if they're not, I feel so prompted today as we were talking, and I didn't plan on this, for those that are not endowed, for those that may not watch Temple Tuesday because they're not Temple recommend holders at this time, I feel like they need to see this video today. They need to be reminded that they can bring the temple into their homes, either with pictures or time set aside to do indexing. It's such a powerful blessing.
It's so powerful.
Yeah, Elder Bednar has given specific blessings about family history work, and indexing. But those that are maybe living away from a temple for various reasons and they're missing it, please share this, because I have such a strong testimony. I would not be standing. I would not have survived the last 10 years of my life with my sister's suicide, with raising a teenager, with having a missionary out in a scary part of the world sometimes, with financials, 2 job losses.
Different, yeah. I was going to say, we've been through many of the same things, but different. Our trials are different.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have made it without the temple and
the
my
temple
covenants.
stands firm, and when we use it in our life, whether it be a picture in the basement or we can come to the grounds, the spirit of the temple is real.
And pray for the angels that you need today, as Sister Nelson and
Yes.
Elder Holland have invited us to do. Ask for those specific angels, for the people that you love, for the people that you're worried about, for the things that you're worried about. Ask for the angels that are there assigned to accompany you in those tasks and responsibilities.
And to help you feel the spirit of
Yeah.
whatever it is that you stand in need of.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Have
tuning
a hot
in.
cup of chocolate for us, because we're cold.
And the
We
sun
did
came
it.
out a little bit.
My nose is starting
She did
to
it.
defrost.
She braved the elements of fall.
Oh my gosh, and you know
Okay,
what's
us
gonna happen?
Arizonans don't get fall, but apparently it's freezing, people.
Listen, let me just say this. By January, this is going to be bathing suit weather. It's just your body's not ready. I mean, I know by February, March, when it says 52, we're like, swimsuits! But when it's October, we're like, scarves, sweaters.
It's so the opposite. It's so the opposite for me. But we're so grateful
Thank
that you
you.
tuned in. Thanks. Have a great day. High five.